Should you run removal in your casual commander decks? Let's look at some reasons why some people dislike running removal and why some people find it to be an essential part of the game. Some players dislike running removal because they feel like it takes away from them doing their thing. They would prefer to focus on developing their own board and accumulating resources for themselves instead of worrying about what their opponents are doing. Which leads into another argument people have against removal, and that's that it can lead to a feels bad by just taking away things from your opponents. Some people look at this as like against the spirit of the format and it's supposed to be casual, it doesn't matter who wins, let's just have a good time. The last argument against removal I want to discuss is letting someone else handle it. These players aren't against the concept of removal, they just don't want to be the one to use their resources to remove problems from the board. Players like this will likely try to make political deals to get people to remove threats from the board that maybe threaten their specific strategy without having to use their own resources, or if it's a threat to the entire board, hopefully one of your other two opponents will just remove it. Let's look at some arguments for why you should run removal in your decks. Answers to game-ending threats. There's lots of powerful cards in the format that can take over the game and either be game warping or game ending, and having a way to deal with these is important. This might include a powerful combo piece, a Voltron commander that's attacking you, a board full of creatures and you need to be able to wipe the board, otherwise you're going to lose on that person's next turn. There's all kinds of things that can be threatening and require answers, otherwise you just watch your opponent win the game. Another reason why running removal is good is to be able to answer things that specifically shut down your strategy. For example, if you're playing a go-wide creature token deck that requires attacking your opponents to win the game, and one of your opponents has a ghostly prison, it's going to be very difficult for you to attack that player because 2 mana per creature token is going to be just way too much for you to ever pay. So let's add on to this scenario. We'll say we got the opponent with the ghostly prison, we have an opponent playing an aristocrats deck that's looking to drain people's lives without attacking, and then you have an opponent playing a Voltron deck, and the ghostly prison doesn't really stop them because they can afford to pay the 2 mana to knock somebody out of the game, since they only need to attack with 1 creature. There just isn't any incentive for the other players to remove the ghostly prison, unless of course you have some kind of political deal where you're like, hey, I'll attack that person with the ghostly prison if you can remove it instead of attacking you, and maybe they'll take that deal because it buys them an extra turn. But you can't rely on that, and also depending on the colors, maybe they can't remove enchantments easily, right? So you need to have your own removal so that you can deal with these things that shut off your own strategy. And the last reason is because it gives you agency over what's happening in the game. It feels like you actually have a fighting chance when you can remove something. Just like our previous 2 reasons, if somebody plays a game-ending threat, you know, some kind of combo piece of their Voltron commander, you're just like, oh, well, I guess I lose. Or if they play that ghostly prison to stop you from attacking with your go-wide deck and you have no removal, it's like, well, I guess I can never beat that player, I lose. Like, that's not fun. It's not an enjoyable experience to just be like, oh, someone played 1 card that just so happens to shut off what I'm doing, so I just straight up lose the game. So by playing removal, you're able to add that interaction to where you actually have a fighting chance, and sure, you might not draw it. Sure, they might play other protection spells to interact with your removal. It doesn't matter. It makes the game more enjoyable to know you had a fighting chance instead of auto losing to something because you just play 0 removal and you have no outs in your deck whatsoever to it. A lot of people's advice on removal is just play more removal, and that's it. That's all they say. They leave it at that. You just need to increase the number so you see it more often, and that's it. But I think there's a balance to removal. I don't think you only have to play the best removal available in the game. I think you can also play removal that works well with your strategy so that you continue to do the thing your deck wants to do while also being able to remove key threats. Continuing with the ghostly prison example, a card like Pest Infestation might be a good example of something you could play in your deck to further your strategy while also providing you removal. Pest Infestation is XX green sorcery. Destroy up to X target artifacts and or enchantments. Create twice X 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with, when this token dies, you gain 1 life. So if you pay 3 mana total, you could destroy 1 artifact and enchantment and get 2 pest tokens. If you paid 5 mana, you could destroy 2 artifacts and enchantments, get 4 pest tokens, and so on and so forth. This is just one example of a way to get artifact and enchantment removal into your creature token deck because it's going to make you the tokens you want furthering your strategy while also removing things that hinder your strategy or are threats on the battlefield. And these kind of cards are the kind of cards you should be looking for because they just help bridge the gap between the things you want to be doing in the game. Regardless on how you feel about removal, removal is part of casual EDH. All precons come with removal because, you know, some things are just really powerful and need to be removed from the battlefield. Things get out of control, stuff like that. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about removal in casual EDH. Do you play removal? How much removal do you play? Until next time, thanks for watching.